Hello everyone and welcome to the PlayStation Access podcast. This week we're talking about the worst decisions we have ever made. In games, that is. So you're very welcome to laugh at our peril. Tangents include fantasy names, fruity hats, and bad romances Lady Gaga would balk at. Enjoy! Hello everybody, welcome to the PlayStation Access podcast, the official podcast of PlayStation UK, where this week we are talking about the worst decisions we have ever made in gaming.
God, this has got a lot more dramatic than I thought it would.
Yeah. Hope you're ready to lay it all out for me, guys.
Oh God, Rosie, we've made a bad decision.
I thought this was just going to be like, that was a silly mistake. Not like my life in front of me.
Tell me what weighs on your consciences.
Oh God,
That's the vibe
so much.
of this one. It's a bit more of a Tuesday checklisty, chatty, fun sort of vibe one because we've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, or rather, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, 2 hours, in fact. So I'm really excited to dig into it some more and see the consequences of my actions. And I thought it would be fun to talk about basically branching narrative stuff where we've had consequences, or maybe even real life stuff where we're like, that was actually a bad decision.
So many consequences in real life. Yeah.
Sadly, Rob isn't with us here today, but we do have Dave, Rosie, and I, Ash, aka...
Here we go.
Names based on Dungeons and Dragons this week. So
Okay.
with the Baldur's Gate loving.
Yeah.
Me, the Dungeon Master.
Yeah, it's a classic.
That's a classic, yeah.
That used to be my username online as well.
Really?
Oh, really? Were you ever a dungeon master or did you just take
I
it?
just liked it.
It is good.
The person in charge in it, I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And like, you know, it sounds kind of edgy, but also like I like games. So I had to change it right because someone who didn't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons followed me. He was like a real life friend and was like, I was really worried for a second when the Dungeon Master followed me. I see the issue. I see the issue. Dave, I've gone for a class for you,
Okay.
which I think is fitting.
Right.
The Paladave.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
Brave.
a very...
I hold my head high.
Yeah, and your shield but higher.
Yes, please, to hide behind. For I am a coward.
Yeah, but to protect those beneath you as a paladin.
Yeah, beneath me in stature.
You're sacrificing
and, in class.
yourself.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Paladave.
Yeah.
And it's got pal in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's Pal Dave. Yeah. And Rosie, you are also a class.
Oh.
Because I think you're fiendish.
Oh,
I think you're a fiendish lady.
Oh, okay. I've never been called fiendish before in my life. I'll put it on my Twitter bio.
Yeah, there you go. The fiendish one from PlayStation Access. Your name is Roguesy.
Rogsy's class.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy with that
It is a
one.
class.
It's
yeah.
a class and
Yeah.
it's quality.
Yeah.
That one makes me
Rogsy.
cool.
How have we
Yeah.
never said that before?
I know. I'm like,
Well, now you
I'm
can.
so happy with that one. I love it.
Say it all the time now.
Yeah.
Rob isn't here, and I'm bummed because that was my favourite one because it was another little grobby one, which oh my God, that's just given me a a flashback. My boyfriend's mom calls the dog Slobber Grolly.
Grolly?
Yeah.
Oh, that is...
It's disgusting, right? It's so rank. She said it we had a friend over eating a fish finger sandwich and the dog came in and she went, oh, watch out, you don't get no grolly on your sandwich.
Oh,
But yes, grobby and grolly in the same sort of area.
no. Yeah.
But yeah, Rob's name was Roblin.
It's so good. You've outdone yourself this week.
Yeah, this has been
These
a great
are the best
one.
ones ever.
Yeah, great one.
It's the D&D
Roblin.
vibes flowing through me.
Yeah.
But yeah, to give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about this week, aside from loads of Dungeons and Dragons offshoots, we're going to have a main feature which is about the worst gaming decisions ever, perhaps. We've then got comments of the week, which are community highlights from the hashtag Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
Very good. We've then got Before We Go for some coverage outside of gaming to prove we are real life flesh people. See, leg.
It's real.
But first, I've got to ask the question, comes up every week, what's new? So, what is new? I'm here to tell you guys.
Please do.
I've researched the internet over at least once. Every
Well
single
done.
search result.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can tell you that Baldur's Gate 3 is new.
No way.
Yeah. It's been out a little while now. It came out on the 6th of September. So this is 10 days later. And if you're early access, it came out even earlier for you on PS5. But right now, as of time of recording, this has been our kind of first time with it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And I feel like this was kind of the inspiration for this week's topic on bad choices as well, because there's so many consequences that come from Baldur's Gate 3 and picking your own path through it. I thought a fun kind of question would be, what are your characters you guys are made or plan on making? Like what sort of...
Well, do you want my honest answer?
Yeah.
Okay, I will use... I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
I've been playing Lies of P.
Yes.
And
We'll get to Liza P.
We'll get
I was
there.
going to say, I want to talk about laser people.
But I really am desperate to play, and I will be playing, this is my honest answer, with a character that's already made, a ready-made character with a backstory.
You're going to go for the origin ones?
Yeah, I'll go for an origin character, just because that's just me. I stress too much about character creators.
I know who you'll be.
I don't know if you do. I've actually already chosen my character.
Okay, without knowing anything about them?
I don't know anything about them.
Okay, all right. I'm interested to see who you say.
I kind of want Ash to guess first because to see if you're right or wrong.
No, I'll say when Dave says.
I can't actually remember their name.
What's
So I'll
their
ask,
backstory?
I'll ask out of... He's the wizard.
Gale! It's Gale! I knew it!
Yeah.
Genuinely who I was going to say. And also, when we streamed this the other day, the chat were going, Gale's so much like Dave.
Really?
Yeah, because he's...
No way.
The way that he's proper, like, he's quite... like wordsy, like he's like a charismatic sort of one where he's like, haha, I'm a wizard.
Yeah.
And it's just like your sense of humour.
Okay.
Like yeah.
I
The
really
amount of
liked
times you
that-
walk in the office and you go, haha, I'm Dave.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a Dave thing.
I really liked his little introduction video.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like try and properly roleplay as well, because it's something I'm bad at.
Yeah.
In games.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm really bad at it. And I think it's worse if I make my own character, because I'm just like, oh, just be me. So I thought I'm going to really try and be this guy. But I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
But that's who I'll be. How about you, Rosie?
Well, I'd probably, because I only recently played my actual first D&D game.
Yeah.
I think maybe a month ago or a few weeks ago now.
Like a proper
And-
tabletop game?
Yeah,
Oh,
like a
cool.
proper one. We did it over Discord. We were chatting. It was my first time doing it, so they gave me like a really nice like warm up quest, and I was loving it. So I probably do like create that character, but I don't know what's, because I've seen in trailers. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet because I've also been busy with Lies of P. But I've seen there's like so many classes.
Yeah.
Was there like 46 or something?
There's
Or
loads and loads of customization you can do between everything. Like it's like a proper, it's all of the races, the classes, the subclasses, the archetypes, all the backups, everything. It's all there, except you can't be a tabaxi. That's the only thing that
What's
I was
a
like,
tabaxi?
I don't even know what.
a tabaxi is the cat people of
Oh.
Dungeons and Dragons world.
Oh.
So the Khajiit. So I'm really hoping we meet some like in the
Right.
game, but I also won't be mad if not, because I'm sure it's gone by a specific like rule book or
Yeah.
set that I'm not as familiar with. I just know tabaxis exist, and I
Yeah.
was like, Khajiit time, baby. But you can be a dragonborn, which is like
So my
yeah.
character was a dragonborn.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that character was in the collection or not, but
Yes,
I'll
there.
probably kind of put the personality, and then like, you know, knowing me also just with RPGs, I'll be like, what are the stats of these characters?
Yeah.
So I don't fully know yet, but I'm basing it off of the dragonborn character I made on my first playthrough probably.
Yeah, they're like the Argonians of Dungeons and Dragons. They're like big lizard men, but cooler because they're like dragon-y people.
Yeah, when I was creating the character, my friend said like, because he was the dungeon master, he was, oh, you can do this and this. I was like, I'm awesome. Yeah, I'm happy I've gone with a dragonborn.
Yeah,
Look at
they
my
are
cool
cool.
abilities.
They are really, really cool. I feel like any of kind of like I like the beast folk people, like goblins and all that sort of stuff. But being a dragonborn is cool because you got all just dragon powers,
Just
man.
dragons, yeah.
Cool, just cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Who do you play as?
I figured this out when I was making my character. I was
Yeah.
like, let's just see what they've got. And I decided upon like a story for her. So I'm playing as a drow, which is like the underground elves,
Yeah.
that are, and they can either be Lolthsworn, which is an evil goddess, or they can be kind of like the good version. And I was like, well, obviously I'm going to be Lolthsworn.
Yeah.
So I am basically part of a cult, underground cult from the City of Spiders. I researched all this. I was like, what's the hometown of the drows that came up? It gave you the name, and I don't know how to say it because it's like Meza something. I really don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
So I googled it and looked it up in Dungeons and Dragons history, and it's known colloquially as the City of Spiders. So it's proper underground. So I've got my drow, and I looked up what merchants they had and what kind of sellings they do, and there was one of the things that came up was like riding lizards that you can sell. So I was like, okay, my drow.
Oh God.
She's a druid and a shapeshifter, a wild changer into different animals. So I was like, she's going to be super animal friendly. She's going to be this animal lady, a proper acolyte of Lolth, who sacrifices people and things but prizes animals above all else, and she sorts out the lizards for the lizard riding down in the city. And she can shapeshift into things. So she's got like centipede tattoos on her face. She's got she's purple. Oh my God, she's great. But she looks so much like, when you make someone too much of a protagonist and it's like your custom characters there, like, hi! Yeah. She's quite obnoxious, but I really like it. And I thought it was quite cool. And being able to alter all these things to match up a story as I was making it was really sick as well.
What have you guys called your characters, or will you call them? Because we did this on the podcast last time.
Yeah.
So we need to hear your names.
So the one, I never went for a name ever
Over and over again
until I met Rob, who always has Roberis, and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea actually, just having a fantasy name that you stick to. And then since playing Bloodborne and getting into the Dark Souls way, they use Ash quite a lot, or like Ashen, so I just took Ashen because I liked that from the Bloodborne armor set, and I was like, well, my name's in it, so Ashen is my name for everything as well. And because like the drow, just their dark elf nature as well, I thought it was quite a cool name for,
it just works.
Yeah, like from being from the underground, and I don't know, I just liked it.
What about you, Rosie? What's your character? Will you tell us your tabletop character's name?
The thing is, so I have always been someone that I've just put my name for a lot of these characters, apart from one, which was Final Fantasy 14, where I called them Rosie the Third. And
oh my gosh.
I know, but that's the thing. Like I've never, whenever I do it, I'm like, yeah, this is me. I'm very much like, this is me in this world.
Got you.
But I was like, with D&D, I was like, no, it's got a different. I want to come up with a different name, but because I've only played with them once. And usually I just go for the name Rosie, so I'm kind of like out of my fantasy name field. I'm like, because I remember I had ideas, and I'm like, which one did I stick with? I want to say it was something like, it had a D in it, but it was still sounded like my name, so it was like Rosiad maybe, or something like that. Like, I'm just trying to. I can't believe I've forgotten my character's name.
You could steal it from Final Fantasy 16 now and be called Rosaria all the time.
Rosaria, yeah, it could be, but that's already been taken. Like, I want to try. I'm trying like just have a name that feels. Like,
you want to be completely original.
Yeah, I want to try. Well, I'm sure that every name's probably been taken at some point.
Oh, you mean more? That character. You think of that character.
Yeah,
I think of
like, because at first I was like, oh, maybe I could be like Rosalith, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure Rosalith is already a name for something.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like it's up for grabs, Rosie. I think we should encourage people to name Rosie's character.
Yeah.
In the comments.
And if not, I'll make a new character, because I kind of feel bad for my Dragonborn character, but I have been tempted already, like playing
Rosie,
one game.
You don't actually have to name your character. We just won't tell them.
I want to, but no, because I
just won't tell them.
Because I want to create. Because after playing my first D&D game, I'm like, I've got an idea for another character. So maybe this name can be the name of my second character.
Ooh.
Who knows?
I would really like to do a Baldur's Gate playthrough where I play as the Dark Urge, kill everything, everyone, and be as evil as possible. So I'm planning on that after I've had my first, the Sacred Run, as you call it, Rosie.
What's your fantasy name?
Sir Davos.
Yeah. Sir Davos.
With a S-E-R, Ser, like Ser.
Yes, I remember hearing this.
Old way of writing Sir.
I meant to say when I heard this last week, I was like, a Game of Thrones really lasted on you guys.
Yeah, and do you know, funnily enough, I think I got it because Rob went with Roberis as well. I was like, oh. And then, Sir Davos. I was like, I'll just nick that.
That's
man,
good. He's so influential.
He is,
even when he doesn't realise, it's like,
he's dangerous.
Get out of my head.
He's a danger.
We also have Mortal Kombat 1, which is out right now in early access, because this comes out on the 16th. So the Mortal Kombat 1 for early access was out on the 14th. So people have had 2 days playing it right now. It's out officially on the 19th of September for everybody else not in the early access round. And we've played it quite a bit, haven't we, Rosie? Like, when we've had different beats.
We've been the pair who have been like doing the previews and fighting each other and doing single player. And every time I've loved it.
Yeah.
Like at the time of recording this podcast, you know, we haven't had our own personal access to it yet, but from what I've played, every time I've been like, that was a great time.
Yeah.
I want to play more. I want to learn these characters.
Have you picked out a main?
Well, my main, so with older Mortal Kombat games, because I've played I've played bits of all of them, or as many as like, you know, I can have access to. And I used to really like Scorpion, but at the previews we haven't really had access to Scorpions, but we have had access on both occasions to Sub-Zero.
I always liked Sub-Zero.
I really like Sub-Zero. They were the character I chose when Ash and I, we did a little like fun short of like, oh, we're gonna fight each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna use my Sub-Zero because I really like Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
So at the moment they're my name. They're my main. But it was also fun because each time I'm always trying like a different character from when we've played it. So when we did our single player one at Gamescom, the first character I immediately picked was Johnny Cage. I was like, you got to pick Johnny Cage. And at first I didn't fully mix with him, but he was still a lot of fun. Like, you know, he's just got such over the top confident moves that I was still having a great time playing as him, even though I wasn't the best with him. But I still won the fight, so I was just like, yeah.
I don't know why I'm suggesting this. It's mad. It's not me at all. But when we get access to it, we should do a lunchtime tournament. Just a one-off lunchtime tournament. Everyone gets to go.
Yep.
And we'll just see who comes out victorious. It won't be me, because I'm terrible at all fighting games.
It will be Rosie.
It will be Rosie, yeah.
No, well,
But Rosie, you'd be nice.
It could be Alex. This is what it should be, the Rosie v Alex. See who's the best at fighting games, Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, 'cause,
but through a
we're
tournament,
both very Tekken.
I want them to rise to the top and then fight.
Yeah.
Like Cream.
Yeah.
Is that what that does? Like,
It does, yeah.
Cream rises to the top,
It does,
Rosie.
yeah. Cream
Another
of the
thing
crop.
for
You
your-
rise to the top.
Oh, okay. I was just like, you two are getting something. I'm just going to play my video game in the middle.
You can write that in your book of learnings
My
for
book
today.
yeah, another phrase I can add to it.
We can't talk about the other one. So that has been recent releases. For upcoming releases, it's Liza P.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I know you guys have been doing. Whilst me and Rob have been Baldur's Gatering, you guys have been Liza P-ing everywhere.
Everywhere.
So you're going to have to tell me about it, because I'm really excited to see what it's all about.
I am loving it. It's so... I especially love the world building and the look of it. Like the gameplay is amazing, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure. But like the real standout thing for me is the world building and the look of the world. It's so cool, and there's still so many. I think one of the best things about kind of Soulsborne-y games is the way that there are just things that intrigue you all the time. It's full of those things that intrigue me. Some of them are gameplay mechanics. Some of them are just like little threads of stories in the world and things. And I'm just completely hooked. And on top of that, having a really great time with the combat. It's I'm sort of starting to understand how the weapons work now. I think I've unlocked like most of the mechanics. So I'm sort of unlocking new skills and playing around with different like blade and handle combinations, and it's starting to come together. I think it's fantastic. I can't wait to play more.
I'm also absolutely loving it to pieces. I'm, like you said, I'm completely hooked on it, and I think obviously the world I really love. I love being, you have to make your little comparisons to Bloodborne, but I love being in that sort of gothic atmosphere again, and the animatronics of the puppets, they're creepy and eerie, and like the way that there's not that much music when you're walking through the world, but you hear just even a little cat meow, or the mechanics just sort of like or the puppets sort of like creaking and screaming here and there. But the main thing that I'm completely hooked on is how the story's going and how the whole gameplay mechanic of lying, which I think I can say that you lie in the game because it's called Lies of P. And like in the demo, we've already seen that there are moments where you have to make choices, and the characters, like the character Sophia, right at the beginning, she says, "You're gonna have to lie to get into the hotel."
Yeah.
And it's.
Have you tried not lying yet?
There have been a couple of moments where I've told the truth, but I'm like, at the moment, I'm going exactly from what I'm feeling at the time. But even then, there are some moments where I do something and I say something, I'm like, was that the right thing though? Because I'm so excited because I don't know where the story's going to go.
Yeah.
Because literally the whole time I've been playing it, it's I'm always just having different theories about what could potentially happen in the world and what things could mean. Because at first it's like, oh, you're going to have to lie. And, Geppetto says like, oh, be careful on who you tell about the hotel. And like, be a good boy to me and never lie. But it's like, there's the rule for puppets where a puppet can never lie. So it's like, is it that if you tell the truth, you're going to end just being a puppet? Then you're just going to remain this puppet form? Or is it that if you lie, you're actually going to be like, no, I'm a human. Like, I'm more than a puppet. I am a human, because clearly I've shown the mixture of like lying and telling the truth and things like that. So I'm just insanely hooked on the story. And the boss fights themselves as well, I've been having a great time with them. They've all got like, they're fun different designs. They're all like, most of them are really big as well. Like, I don't know how far you've got, Dave, but like there's been two which I've been stumped on like for a night with them, and both of them I've just been like, oh, you're really big and cool robots, this is so cool. So I am just absolutely hooked on it. I love it. I love the world. I love how I'm always questioning whether I've done the right thing or not. Like, I know you shouldn't be because it's your first playthrough. It's like, just play it, relax. But already there's so many things I've done and I've been like, oh God, was that the right thing to do? I don't know. I think Souls games have just scarred me, because there's been so many times I've been like, let me help you out of this prison. And then they go killing everyone. And I'm like, no. So I'm really like, I'm trying to learn my lessons from those games, but in this game, I'm genuinely like,
The thing is, at the end of the day, there's not, the amazing thing about games like this, or games where there are choices with consequences, as we're going to talk about, is that there is no wrong choice. It just becomes your story. My story was, I did these things and this is what happened. And I think that's so cool. Like, obviously, you can look back and go like, oh, there's a better ending or a worse ending maybe, but ultimately it's like, it's not like you've broken the game now, you can't, it's just like your story went this way or that way, so you kind of have to be philosophical. I feel stressed too when I'm like, so what's stressful. The right thing to do? I don't know.
The thing is, as well, it's like I'm already excited to replay it and just see what a fully truthful run looks like and a fully lying playthrough looks like, because like there could be someone who's an obvious killer, and if they say, where's a safe place for me to go, if you tell the truth because you're like, I'm a good boy, I'm telling the truth, then they're probably going to go into the hotel and be like, ha ha ha, and having like a big murder spree. So it's like, I love how it puts you in the dilemmas that you have to also sometimes lie. It's so, I'm really excited to do those runs where it's like fully truthful and fully lying to see where they go.
It's also interesting that they really make a big deal and call out about it being truth or lie. It's not this choice or that choice, and you know that one of them's true and one of them's a lie. It literally says, you're going to have to lie sometimes. Will you lie now or will you tell the truth? Rather than just saying, I say this or I say that.
And you've got a time limit as well, so you can't even think. You just see it like...
The time limit is intense.
And you're just like... and then when you do it and you have like, oh, the ergo in your heart is changing or something along that phrase, I'm just like, is that a good thing or is it bad?
Are you going to play it, Ash?
I think I'm definitely going to play it, but I think it's going to be a later in the year one for me. Just because there are so many good games coming up, and that one I kind of want to save for my Christmas playthrough where I can give it loads of time and attention. Because right now, Baldur's Gate 3 needs all my time and love, and I really want to go in there and explore all the options in it. And then there's Lords of the Fallen, which I'm really excited for.
It looks so good.
Yeah, I've been gassed for that for ages, and I think kind of having two Souls like back to back in my free time anyway, like I would want to mix it up a little bit. And then we're in October, which is Horror Central, so we've got Alan Wake 2, which I am absolutely frothing at the mouth for. Like, and obviously Spider-Man 2's in there as well.
Yeah.
Marvel
Yes.
Spider-Man 2. I am so excited for it. So
crazy.
it's just endless.
The next few months are just the most unbelievable. We've reached the peak of the year, everyone. It's like all the games have been sleeping and they're ready to come out and for us to
You have to do a schedule,
see them.
don't you? Like you're saying with doing Baldur's Gate 3 and then you're going to do Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah.
You've got to do that plan.
Yeah.
So-
I'm like picking and choosing as I go through. I'm like, this is like for free time anyway. Like I say, like I'm still going to be playing a bit of everything for previews, for coverage, and getting streams done, all that sort of stuff. So this is the one time that being in the games industry is like, instead of like, because there's so many that I want to make sure I'm really knowledgeable on. But that's kind of my plan at the moment. Baldur's Gate 3 and then Lords of the Fallen. I'm just feeling some delicious fantasy at the moment. Like I just want to eat it up. I just want to chew on it. I want a sweet roll.
Yeah, for
you know?
sure.
You know?
I always want a sweet roll, to be honest.
Yeah.
They are delicious.
And who stole my sweet roll? Find out in the next section of the PlayStation Access podcast, aka the main feature, where we're going to be talking about our worst decisions in gaming. And whoever stole my sweet roll made a really bad decision, let me tell you. So here we are, back in the middle bit of the podcast, as I like to call it.
That's what we all call it, yeah.
We're in the middle bit, and this is focused around our worst decisions. Now, it doesn't have to be the kind of like things that ruined your game, but just consequences that came up that you were like, oh no, this is terrible for me, the player. So maybe it's in a game, maybe it's outside of a game. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to approach it a little bit Tuesday checklisty and ask you this question off the back of all the consequences we've been having recently.
Yeah. My answer's too real. It's half a joke and half real, and it's that the bad decision I made was encouraging my girlfriend to get into games.
Yeah.
She wasn't when we met. She is now.
Oh.
And now I have to share
share.
the PlayStation. And I can only play certain things at certain times because she wants to like watch or like Stray. I've never played Stray because she played it and I watched her play it and I had to do the hard bits. And just
So you only got to do the Zerk runs
yeah,
then?
basically. Yeah. That's my experience of Stray. That is, obviously that is true, but it's obviously a joke as well. Like it has been brilliant to see someone
Have
like
your player too.
it's not even that. I mean, that is good too. Like obviously we've played a bunch of co-op games, which has been really, really fun, but genuinely the most fun is just introducing her to something that I think she'll really love, and then she does. That's been brilliant. And it does overcome the annoyance of having to share my PlayStation. But really, like, I am really annoyed about Stray.
That bit of times that we
was
know.
a bad decision. I was like, I can't. I really wanted to play it, and I still haven't played it. I'm hoping that I will. Time will pass, and I will feel ready that it's my time to go and play Stray. Because I don't know what happens. This is the amazing
Well
thing.
done for
I sat with Ash while she did a platinum speed
You
run.
watched the whole
I
game
watched
on
the whole
speed
thing
run.
until the end when I was like, and then I watched my girlfriend play most of it. I don't know what happens. Not even an inkling. So it is still like it's not ruined for me, but I was quite full of Stray by the time it was my turn to come and play.
There's emotions in there as well, mixture of emotions,
Yeah.
all of them from good to bad.
Do you both have other halves who play games? Is it a hindrance or a nice thing?
Looking down like.
No, my boyfriend, he plays games just as much as I do, but bless him, he's always lovely because he knows that with our line of work, sometimes I do need to play things a bit more.
I'm afraid I need to play this evening for work.
So he is really good, and also he enjoys watching games that I'm playing as well. So like, I'm playing a game. I mean, the other night I was playing a game and, I mean, I won't lie, it was Lies of P. And I was...
Don't lie.
Yeah, there we go. And I was doing the boss that I've been stumped on, and he saw me, like, doing multiple attempts at it. And then when I finally defeated it, he was in the other room, just behind this computer. And I was just like, I've done the boss! And he came running in just to see what the story happened. Just like, what's happened? Because he's also hooked on the story completely. And when we've been talking about theories, we were talking about it together. So, yeah, he plays plays games just as much as I do. He loves them just as much as I do. So we're a very video game centric flat.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's so good. The corner of games.
The shelf of games. Just video games are always on the telly.
Yeah.
Like one of us has always got a controller in our hands. So so we share all of our video game fun times.
What about you, Ash?
I try to share.
Right.
My only child comes through.
Yeah,
So
I feel a bit like that.
Sam is really good. Like, he will always be like, let's play a horror game, let's do this, and we'll do like a narrative walking sim. But he's such like a Labrador of a man that he's always like laughing or being like hee hee as he's doing things. I'm like, take it seriously. Like, it's scary. It's like, oh, we're being scared now. We're being quiet. Or like he plays a lot of like FPS games and Rocket League and stuff like that. Stuff that's like doo, 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 that you really need to be on it for. And he'll be trying to swing the camera around to like look for beasts. And I'm like, just play it cinematically. Like, I'm like, you're making me seasick trying to watch this. I'm like, give me the controllers. So we do play it, and it is fun. I'm not like that the whole time. And then if he gets stuck on some, I don't know why I'm lying. That he does not get stuck on stuff, and I do not do it for him. I just like to imagine that's
Maybe once he might have got stuck on something.
I pulled myself away from that. Then I was like, I could set that up, but no. He's really good at all of it as well. But he's just played a whole different area of games all of his life, because he's very multiplayer focused and social, whereas I like sitting in a dark room and just having a story. So he will come and join me for them, and we'll just do like pass the pad, which I really like, because I like just playing something and figuring it out as you go and being like, oh, it's like a play along film. And then we also did like It Takes Two, which was really good. So obviously we're always waiting for the next one from that studio where it's like A Way Out and all this sort of stuff. But being able to introduce him to new stuff or things that I've heard are really good that normally I wouldn't pick, but I think will be fun to play with Sam, has been really nice as well. So it's kind of broadened both our horizons.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I have saved like a specific subgenre of horror games that are either walking sims or ones that are like just underrated or not spoken about as much, or ones that I don't really know a lot about that I'll just try out, because we can both mess around playing those. Like, it's not like I'm going to put him in Resident Evil 4 and be like, play nicely. It's like we'll put on something else. And then we've had loads of really great surprises that way as well, and found some new games that we wouldn't have otherwise tried. Like Absolov End of Gods, really enjoyed that, and both of us had a great time playing it. And Phobia, St. Dymphna's Hotel, we both played together, and I really enjoyed it more because I played it with him. And we just had like a fun time doing it as well.
Yeah.
I've derailed this because we're supposed to be talking about bad decisions, but we've actually turned it into good decisions. But I do have like I'm not great at decisions. I'm not great at decisions in my life. I'm not great at decisions in games. One decision I've talked about this a lot, but I will bring it up again. One decision I really wanted to make was to have a relationship in Mass Effect 2. Yeah. And I somehow was completely unable to do it. And I don't know, like, I must have been making bad decisions, but I don't know what those decisions were.
Just to be repellent.
I was literally like, there came a point where I was just like, does anybody like me? Just anybody. Like, I've heard that relationships are a big part of this game, and everyone was just like good friends with me. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, I guess I was making bad decisions. I don't know.
That actually links with one of my bad decisions I made, which was in Mass Effect 1. I've spoken about this before, and I didn't want to romance this character, but the character who I wanted to romance
we need to swap. What's going on?
Like, the character I wanted to romance wasn't romanceable yet. They are then romanceable in Mass Effect 2. So as soon as Mass Effect 2 happened, I was just like, go away, other person. And it was that I had a romance with Caden, but the whole game, I've just been treating them as a good friend. I was like, every conversation.
The man can't take a hint. You've got to be like, Mr. Alenko. No.
Yeah, literally the whole time I was just like, I was just being nice. I was being friendly, this, that, and the other. And then there was one scene when they were by some lockers, and then an alarm went off, and then they got like close to each other. And I was like, no, Shepard. You are not kissing this man. You do not fancy this man. We don't fancy Caden. But like, as soon as the scene happened, I was like, why? I'm just trying to be nice. I felt very much that romance from Caden was, I've heard from a lot of people with Caden, you've got to be like, no.
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you reload, or were you just like, well, that's happened now, I guess?
No, it's happened. It was like, it was my playthrough, so
it.
I had that locker scene, and then
do the do.
Seal the deal.
Yeah.
I did because I was playing it.
Yes, of course.
I was playing it with my friend who loves Mass Effect, and also I was live streaming it on my personal channel I do with my friends, and I was just like, look, I don't want to romance this character. I don't fancy them.
But
this is the only romance option I've got in Mass Effect 1. So
right, you were like, I've committed now.
I was like, look, the game is pretty much saying, go on, have some fun, because Caden is just so adamant that he wanted to date my shepherd.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, and then the chat and the live stream were like, yeah, do it. I was like, fine.
Don't listen to them.
My friend was like, oh yeah, go on, do it.
Rosie, this is a horrible story.
Because my friend Liam was like, I know how much you don't want to romance this character, so I kind of want to see you romance them. So yeah, then I romanced them. But the thing is, I never actually saw this. Yeah, I never saw the scene because obviously we were live streaming it, and there were some rules, so we had like a placeholder.
You played it again in the office?
That was for capture. That was for capture, and even then, I was talking to Chloe in the office, so it was going on behind me, and I didn't see it.
All the time.
You saw it.
Yeah.
You saw it, and I didn't see it. And then when I turned around, it was done. I was just like, well, there we go.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, so literally, I've never seen the scene, but yeah, as soon as I did it, I was just like, no, I want Garrus, like, no. Yeah. And then as soon as Mass Effect 2 came about, and then Caden walks back in, I was just like, no.
I thought Garrus was a purist. I thought you couldn't get with him if you'd been with someone else.
I did in Mass Effect 2.
You make some exceptions to the rule sometimes. The right shepherd comes along.
That's just what I'd heard, is that if you romance anyone in Mass Effect 1, then Garrus isn't available. It's good to know that you can
have your cake and eat it.
It's not really, it's not like the same romance that you have with Caden. It's more of like a tender moment, let's say.
Okay.
And you're both kind of like in your bedroom chatting.
A tender naked moment?
Well, I didn't see any of that, so. But I'm trying to remember as well, because I was so just I was in my mind, I was just like, yay, Garrus! I was just so happy.
Let's see what's under that suit, baby.
I was just so happy for my shepherd and Garrus that, like, in terms of the actual action, I don't remember what happened. I was just like, yay, Caden's out the picture, Garrus.
In terms of the actual action, I don't remember what happened. Oh God. Forgettable.
Well, because Garrus, you couldn't have a relationship with in Mass Effect 1.
Yeah.
So that's why as soon as I could, I was just like, Garrus, you're out of everyone, all these characters so far, you're my bestie.
I think you talking innocently about relationships in Mass Effect 2 is my new favourite thing. It's just so good. It's just great.
And also as well, there was Thanos, but I know he's...
what?
Thanos?
No, not
Thanos. Thane. He's there like, I'm inevitable. Might as well give it a go.
You're in my 50%.
Thane.
Yeah.
Thane was there, and Thane was really cool, but I know Thane's your guy as well.
I would share him. It's fine.
Well, but you did a whole video that I edited.
We did a whole video that I edited where you said it wasn't okay. That's what Rosie's face was going to say here.
The video was that it's great and everyone should do it. And when he's like, see her. And I'm like,
yeah, but like hearing you talk about him, I was just like, sorry, I'm still
she couldn't betray me.
I was like, just hearing you talk about him and how much you loved him, I was just like, he's
He's
yours.
off limits.
He's a sexy assassin with a dark side. He's got a troubled past, but he's a soft man. Like, he's just like the perfect trope. Just love him. And he's a frog.
And he's a frog.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, apart from that, like pretty much every From Software game, I've accidentally made a bad decision, regretted it immediately, then looked up online about what it meant and how do I fix it, and then had to go put more grinding hours into it to fix the mistake I made.
Do you know what the worst one is?
Well, I'll always remember the first one, which was the man who's... Spoilers. The man who's actually a beast that you find by like those corpses. Like I remember first playthrough years ago, my first Souls game as well. I was like, yeah, here's a safe place. Let me help you out. And then pretty much everyone died, and I didn't understand why until he turned into a monster. And I was like, that was my first one. So I'll always remember that. But I remember.
Sorry, Rosie. Just to interrupt, you told me about this, or I heard about it on the channel from you. And I remember then in my Bloodborne playthrough, I was like, dee, 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 dee. And I met him and was like, come to my house. and then after I like gave him the address, I was like, that's the one that Rosie was talking about. That's actually a beast. So like he was still there, like he hadn't left because I was still in the area, because I realised like the conversation had just finished. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So I just literally just started smacking him, and then he turned into a massive wolf, and I was like, I knew it. Rosie told me about you.
Literally, like that's what I love about the Souls games as well. If you make a decision, there's a little bit of time that you can fix things. But so I had it with one that I was able to quite easily fix was one in Demon Souls. There's a character, I can't remember his name, but he's a knight that's in a cage, and I freed him, and I was like, I remember at the moment I was like preparing myself to fight him. I was like, oh, if you're gonna come attacking me now, I'm ready. He just walks around the fire pit for a bit, and I was just like, oh, you're harmless, like go have fun killing some demons. And then I don't know why, then I sort of remembered my lessons I learned from Bloodborne, and I was just like, hang on a minute. So I quickly looked them up, and everyone was just like, don't invite him into the Nexus. Like, he's going to kill everyone. You can find him here. He's just wandering around. So I was like, quick, go. So I quickly like went to find him. But that stressed me out so much that I had trouble sleeping for 2 nights because I was...
Oh my God,
because I was so like, I don't want to look it up online because because it's my first playthrough, but I don't think I've done the right thing and I don't want to ruin my Demon Souls progress. So
weird.
Tossing and turning.
I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
Well, Demon Souls decision. I can't do it. I can't take it anymore.
So I looked it up.
I've got to know.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did, because then I killed him before he got anyone. And then in Dark Souls, there's a character who, again, you free him, and I was like, oh, you seem like a nice guy, but then he killed the Fire Link Shrine, like the main one that you come back to with the nice music playing. The person who's the source of the fire, they killed them, and I was just like, where's my Fire Link gone? Where's my fire?
Like, no remorse.
Yeah, and then I talked to my brother about it, I think, and I was like, do you know why this has happened? And he was like, you let them out of the prison cell, didn't you? There's a reason why they're in prison. And I was just like, how do I fix it? And then he helped me fix that one by like saying, okay, you got to go here, do this. I was like, thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. So yeah, those have been some of the bad decisions I've made.
Some of the many.
Just a few.
Yeah.
Just a few.
I feel like my worst gaming decision is claiming that I would get the platinum on Hollow Knight on the channel.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's just I've just tethered myself to that ship now, and it has to be done.
Yeah.
Like, it has to happen.
It has to.
I will do it. I wish I never said I would though.
Yeah.
But like one day I will platinum Hollow Knight, and it will be the best day of my life, and everything there will be downhill afterwards. But
this is how I feel about letting people know I'm scared of horror games.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Should never. I wish I could. I don't know what the first one was. It might have been Outlast. It might have been before that. And if I could have just held it together for one, if I could go back and speak to myself.
Was it Rush of Blood in VR? Was that before or
no,
after
that was,
Outlast?
they already knew that I was scared by then, yeah. And if I could just go back and just say, just hold it, just everything. Just do everything. Hold it together, just today. Just relax.
Just relax.
My life could be so different.
You could have,
I don't know. It could be
God,
so
imagine
different.
that, an access world where,
Where
no one knows.
No one knows. I'm
no one
scared.
knows.
It's all spread equally amongst everyone.
Yeah.
You'd have never hired me.
No.
My cover letter was about scary days. So yeah, but I think so, like in games, it's more kind of like Stefan Rosie's thing where like I've helped a character and then been like, oh no, you're the baddie, which I accidentally did in Killer Frequency, and I don't want to say what it is particularly because I think everybody should play Killer Frequency, and I don't want to spoil it because it's a really great twist that I was just really dumb when this question came up, where it was like you have the choice of giving a person the right answer or the wrong answer, and I was like, I'd done everything so perfectly up to that point. I was like, well, obviously I'm going to do the thing that I think is the right call here because it's the perfect way I'm playing it, and it was very obviously not what I thought it should be. So that is a very roundabout way of saying Killer Frequency. And also spoilers for House of Ashes, but it's at the beginning. It's one of the first deaths, so I feel less bad about spoiling this one because there's so much more great stuff in that. But suffocating Merwin, oh my God.
You suffocate?
Yeah.
Oh no. I remember I felt really proud when I didn't suffocate because I was like, I picked up on the signals.
Oh, it's so silly. So I don't know if you've played this, Dave.
I haven't finished the game. I feel like I must have done this bit, but I can't remember.
So Merwin is basically like proper like Semper Fi, soldiers. So and when you start getting attacked by all of the monsters, he's super injured, bleeding out, and his two mates are trying to rescue and pull him out. So you're playing as the two mates pulling Merwin away, and you need to treat him before the monster gets to you, and you have to cover his mouth to be like, all right, we're going to treat you, don't make noise. And you have to keep pressing a button to keep holding his mouth. So I was like, and it kept like coming up with another prompt. I was like, hold him still.
Like the camera pans to the character slowly being like, eyes shut in a bit.
Squirming, Merwin.
Merwin's going still on like blue, and I'm like, and he suffocated. And afterwards, I was like, oh yeah,
that makes sense. I did that, didn't I?
Yeah. That was one I played with Sam, actually. So that was like, we love playing the branching narrative, like super massive games, because I think that's really fun to pass the pad with. And that was my character. And I literally one of the first people. I fully made a big deal to him beforehand. I was like, you got to play this like my way, because we want to rescue all the characters. Like, no stupidness. We are no fun, only the way that keeps everyone alive at the end, because I want the trophy for everyone being alive, okay? And then literally the first opportunity, I was like, death!
Are there consequences to Merwin? I mean, I'm sure there are, but like, is anything bad happen because Merwin died?
So you get an opportunity that becomes easier in the later game if Merwin's alive. There's no way he can survive the full game, but getting him alive to his longest point means
useful.
Yeah, it means that you have an easier time with everyone else. And the only people that died in that game were from me. So good, again, good guy Sam, like absolutely putting up with me whilst I'm killing everyone, going, didn't realise that was going to happen. Whoops. So yeah, that was probably the other one, because then we had to play through the whole game, and I was like, I'm not going to get that trophy. Yeah. Sorry, both of you were looking at me really expectantly then.
No, this is your story.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the main feature, but not the end of what I have in store for you.
Oh, God.
I wanted to do a little special mini quiz.
Mini quiz!
PlayStation Access mini quiz is happening right now.
Nice.
So,
oh God, straight in.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, it's not a competition again.
Yeah.
It's just a fun one.
It's just for fun.
It's just a fun
Well,
one.
Rosie's not competitive this year. So.
I've been having a lovely fun time this year. I have to say,
You
lovely
should
fun
have
time.
seen her on Tekken 8. She was competitive then.
No, I wasn't.
At Gamescom.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just thought you could do with a couple of matches to make sure that you were fully used to the game.
She savaged me.
Well.
I won the first match, right, and Rosie like changed. She was like, like something actually turned to like steel. She was like, this isn't happening.
No, Ash, that's not allowed. What?
And then didn't let me move for the next two matches.
Play again, Ash.
Yeah.
Play again.
Best
We're
of
playing
three,
again.
and then everything got happy again.
Yeah. And then she was like, let's do this again.
Not competitive.
It was really funny.
It was
though.
funny. It was funny.
Both of us were like, okay. But right, I have it's a little complicated as well. It's one of Ash's patented complicated quizzes.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask about the rules this time. Just going to go for it.
So basically there are 3 games that have anniversaries this month.
Oh, wow.
And I want you to tell me what the 3 are, but I'm only going to give you clues that relate to all 3 games.
Okay.
So you can't have a specific clue for a specific game. They all have to match up. And obviously, the sooner you do it, I've got 10 clues. The sooner you do it, the more points out of 10 you'll get.
Okay.
So, or probably 11, because I guess 1 wouldn't. You can't have 9 out of 10 for having 1 clue, because unless you just know them. There you go. Do you just know them?
I do actually know 1, yeah.
I think I know 2.
Oh no. Okay, well, before you say it, for the benefit of the people at home, I will just give the first clue, which is very broad. Is that they're all over 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that including 10 years?
We're looking for 3 games.
Including 10 years and 3 games, yeah. And they're all over 10 years old. All have anniversaries in September.
Yeah.
So if you think you know them, feel free to guess, and I'll tell you if they're right or not, because you need to identify all 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think I know one. Mm-hmm. Should I say it now?
Yeah, you can say it now.
Okay. Metal Gear Solid.
No.
Oh.
Wrong.
I'm going to guess because also we had Amy in the office talking to me
This is
about
why I was
this.
shaking my head
Just
at her.
before the podcast recording, Spyro the Dragon.
Yes, honestly. I was literally, I was looking at it going,
How old Spyro the Dragon?
25.
yeah, okay.
20 they've been doing there's been like I've seen some things going around on social media for it as well, so I'm very excited just to be in the Spyro love at the moment. I'm like, yeah, Spyro, that's great. So
wow, 25 years.
yeah,
Oh my god,
I love Spyro the Dragon.
What is time?
Crazy. The other one I'd guess, but I don't know if it was in September or the end of August, Rayman Legends.
No.
Was
Incorrect.
I don't know, that was probably end of August then.
Okay,
So-
it's game on then.
The next clue.
Yeah.
All of them begin with the letter S.
That's interesting.
That's a big clue.
Is it?
Well, I just think it's a big clue. Knowing your first letter is always a big help.
And they're all over 10 years old, and that's all we're getting. I mean,
That's
there's
so
loads of
far.
games beginning with S that are over 10 years old.
Yeah. But you know one of them now.
Should I just guess sometimes?
You can guess, yeah.
Splinter Cell.
No, you can each have a guess per round.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for fun, remember?
Yeah, it's fun.
I was going to say Silent Hill?
No. And you have to say it like Silent Hill. Silent Hill. Silent Hill. Okay. Clue number 3. They're all based within a franchise.
Okay.
So they're part of a wider thing.
And the very first letter
Is S.
And we know one of them's Spyro.
Yes, yeah. There are no extra points for knowing Spyro.
If you want me to just move to the next one, you
Well,
can.
no,
as
if they're
well.
all
No,
part
no.
of like a wider circle and they all begin with S, it's got to be something that Spyro's involved with.
No. It just as in there's a Spyro has a franchise.
Oh, and then
S1 has a franchise and S2 has a
Okay.
franchise.
right.
So
the S has really thrown me off.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nope.
Oh, good guess though.
Thank you.
Um,
I was most excited if I had got that and you hadn't. I was going to be like, yes,
yes.
Shenmue.
You can't have another guess.
Oh, sorry.
There's one guess per round
Rosie
of clues.
said
Shenmue.
Shenmue.
No. Number 4. They're all North American developers and publishers. So one's Canadian, so that's why I've said North American, but like American market.
Siphon Filter.
No. Not in my collection of 3.
This is a fiendish quiz. I like it very much.
I'm just trying to think of games that begin with S, like franchises that begin with
Yeah, I
S.
know you are. I know you guys are.
That's basically it.
That's
all
the
we
thing
gotta
that's
do.
mainly throwing me.
Would you like the next clue? It's a bit more game based.
Okay, yeah.
So they all feature unique modes of transport.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does Spyro? I mean, you just are a fly. You can fly in Spyro.
Yeah, that's unique.
That's not transport.
It's not, but I know that. No. I was going to say, no, that's not in September.
There's trains in it.
Trains.
You don't ride them, but in Spyro.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true.
Unique methods of transport that begin with S.
Mm-hmm.
It's like SSX?
No.
Okay. That's snowboarding.
This is how we play the plus game, by the way, which is when we know the plus games for the month, we just say random clues about them until someone gets them.
It's a fun.
This
I
is a
love
big
that game.
insight into
It is.
how
Yeah,
it works.
we're usually very good at that though. This has been really hard.
Okay, you can ask for the next
Carry
one.
on. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so they all have cartoon/animated show spin-offs.
Really? They've
Shows-
spun off from the game.
Not necessarily spun off
Okay.
from the game.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
I
got
thought about that when you said
Yay.
mode of transport, but I wasn't brave enough.
Oh, that's well done. So you
Okay.
got that one,
And then one more.
One more.
and it's had like an animated thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
You don't have to guess if you don't have one.
How many clues do we have left?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we got 4. Yeah, they go on then.
So the next one is they're all third-person games.
Okay.
It's not particularly useful at this
But
point.
it is a fact.
It is a fact.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. So in this is really complicated clue. In ascending order of how I have written, which is oldest to newest,
Right.
there is a consecutive increasing amount of words in each title.
Okay.
So you know two of them.
Simpsons Hit and Run. So that's 4. Spyro the Dragon's 3.
Yeah.
So this is either 2.
So they've got 5 words in it, or
Two.
Yeah.
5 or more,
5
or
or more.
Yeah.
2 or fewer. So Spyro is 25 years old, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? 20, and then 5, 1998?
What?
1998?
Oh yeah.
That's when it came out.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking at some. I think it's older than Spyro.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Beginning with S. Modes of transport.
And it's
Third
got
person.
an animated.
You're gonna hate it.
And it's got an animated thing.
Oh yeah, that feels like a massive clue. I can't believe we haven't got it from that, like an animated series.
I know. Literally, I'm thinking rather than games of beginning with S, I'm thinking of like tie-ins.
Yeah, I found
Yeah.
out Spyro had a cartoon. I was like, what?
I didn't even
I
think
didn't know
about that.
Spyro had a
Yeah, I didn't even
cartoon.
It's
think about
also
that.
like the Skylanders stuff also has a
Oh, Skylanders,
cartoon as well.
yes.
Go on then, keep going.
So the next clue is each game in my little roundup is a
Wait a minute, hang on. Ash gave us a big clue earlier, which was that it 10 years or older.
Yeah.
Well, that just feels like a weird thing to say, unless one of
is
the
10
games
years.
is like around the 10-year mark. Simpsons Hit and Run is like pretty old.
I can
really
imagine
old.
that's maybe.
So it must have more words than 4.
I mean, unless this one was written first in the order of what Ash has written. 'cause
Yeah,
she said,
yeah. But my point is that
I
like,
told you I wrote them oldest to newest. I did say that.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
I missed that part. I missed that
So
part.
no, you know it's 5 words.
yeah,
I will say.
yeah.
Just to clear that up.
Doesn't really help me.
The next clue is each game is a defining part of someone's childhood here.
Oh,
Well, mine was Spyro.
including us, including just
out of
us.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Simpsons Hit and Run. I think that's you. Well, it's not me.
It was me.
Yeah. So it's
But
either
that
you
leaves
or
me.
Rob. You or Rob.
Why can't I think I'm defining a childhood game? I don't know. I don't know my game.
You're defining childhood game.
Rosie, what's my game? What's my game? What did I do? What do I play?
I know you played Oddworld.
I'm so bad at this. This always happens.
I'm like,
Doesn't begin with S, Rosie.
unless it's Rob, because this was.
No, it's me.
So is it definitely? Okay, it's definitely Dave. Oh no.
This always happens to me at quizzes. I can never remember. I can't think. My mind's completely blank. Now that I know, I should really
Okay.
know it. My mind's like, you
Let's
don't
go
know
back to
anything.
you. Played Tony Hawk. You did a lot of that.
Just S's.
Skate.
Skate. I did play skate.
Yeah, but I'm like, so I'm
don't think
trying
I-
to take you back to the past when you're playing Tony Hawk. You played Oddworld.
I'm back there.
You're back
I'm
there.
back there. Yeah, it's hard to know how old I am because I'm just. How many clues we got left?
1.
Oh my god.
I can give you the last clue if you want.
Honestly, my mind's gone blank.
You have 1 guess each after I tell you the last clue.
Okay.
So the last one is each of the games occupies a period of fiction, but in the past, present, and future. So a fictional past, fictional present, fictional future.
So Simpsons Hit and Run is present.
Fictional present.
Fictional present. Spyro, is that a fantasy fictional past or a fantasy fictional future?
I don't really understand.
Oh no!
I would say Spyro is fantasy fictional past because being based on dragons feels very like medieval. That's what I would say.
So wait, that's past.
Yeah, but once you know the other game, you'll be like, oh, okay, Spyro is the one that is a bit weird in all of Ash's things, but it makes sense for the other ones.
So it's a future.
It's not Star Wars.
Yeah. The 15 years ago.
15 years ago. Let me go back there. Wait. 2013, then -5, 2010, 2008. Where am I? Oh, I'm at university. It's weird and it smells.
Is it-
Star Wars? I'm playing Star Wars.
Is
From
it-
2008. I don't know. That needs.
Can't mouth things to each
It needs
other.
more. It needs more words than that.
Oh yeah, for the audio, I should probably whisper like as if I'm mouthing, but it's not a guess. Battlefront. That's what I said.
Yeah, but it needs to have more words.
3 words. After
words.
the colon.
So Star Wars, something, something, something.
I'm gonna have to rush you.
You're at university.
Come
I
on.
just can't.
Precious memories.
I just can't believe this.
You've got Star Wars. That was the bit that I was linking to.
Star Wars. Oh, okay.
When you were at uni, was that PS3?
Yeah.
The Force Unleashed?
Yes!
Hey!
Yay! Even though you weren't asking me, you're asking Dave, who gawped like a little fish then.
I've not actually played The Force Unleashed. But otherwise, yes, Star Wars, is very much me.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
But
man, 15 years.
15 years of The Force Unleashed.
My God, that's crazy.
20 years of Simpsons Hit and Run. 25 years of Spyro the Dragon. I should say Simpsons and Spyro, the North American release specifically. But yeah, that's our big
Do you know the
releases.
other big anniversary in September?
Is it your birthday?
Yay!
Dave's
I was going to spin that out a bit longer. I was going to give you 10 guesses. 10 clues.
It's not in January.
Yeah,
Not
that's right.
February.
Over 37 years old.
Well, I hope you enjoyed my quiz. I don't know what sort of quiz it was. It was just a
Anniversary. It was the anniversary quiz.
It's a little anniversary quiz. I hope you
Yeah.
guys at home got that very random collection of games from 10 clues. This is what happens when you're trying to think up quizzes. Hey! Right, we're going to move on to comments of the week now. So have a small musical break and then we shall sing for thee.
It's time. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just want to see how long it would go.
Not that long, apparently. It's time.
It's time.
Sorry, I didn't realise that Ash was being creative, and
Yeah.
I've ruined it. And I will now get on board with the creative. We're just improving.
Just
Let's do this.
improving.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for comments of the week.
See how well we work together?
Wow, we can accomplish anything.
I liked your composing hands at the same time, Dave.
Week.
Oh my goodness. Right, this tablet has zoomed everything in. It's really, really big and I can't make it go small again. So, Heather, hello. From Games We Love to Revisit Time and Time Again pod, which all of these are from, bar one, which is from the Armored Core stream. This is everybody telling us about their fantasy names.
Their names, yeah.
Since Nath took the liberty
I know.
of asking a question. How dare he?
I know.
How dare he sit where I once sat?
Yeah.
Right. Hashtag Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
I named my Baldur's Gate 3 character Vivica, I think. It's either Vivica or Viveka. I'm going to go with Vivica.
I like Vivica, yeah.
Oh, Viv.
I hope it's not Viveka now I've said that, sorry,
Yeah.
if it is.
She's a human ranger who grew up by herself and is afraid of lightning. She's flirtatious
Oh.
and loves helping animals. She was created for a D&D campaign that never finished. I'm so happy her adventure will continue. Yay!
Oh, that's lovely.
that's really
That was
nice.
like such a nice end.
Yeah.
I do like these. I'm kind of just gonna rattle through them because it's really nice just hearing people's little
Yeah.
dee-dees. So we've got one from Palehead33 who says hashtag Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
I always name my RPG characters Palehead if male and Nemesister if female. Palehead was the name of a band back in the late 80s and Nemesister was the name of an album back in 1995.
I like Nemesister. I've not heard that before. That's
It
cool.
Sounds like Nemesis's sister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nemesis. I'm literally the whole time just like, stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nemesis.
You should borrow Nemesister sometime.
You are the Nemesis.
Well, I can't. Yeah, I am the Nemesis. There you go. I can't take that brilliant name, but I will take on the Nemesis if one has to in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I'll become. James Fox says hashtag Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
The name I always use in RPGs is Xanadu. That's because it's the name of a Rush song, which I love.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
wow.
going to say, wow, yeah, that's a blast from the past there.
Yeah.
Is that with an X or a Z?
X?
Yeah, you want it with an X. don't
Yeah,
you?
the real
Cool.
deal. The real
Xanadu.
We've got Dragon85 who says hashtag Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
In caps. Says my go-to RPG name is usually Dragon. Or I love people commenting with their username
Yeah.
as their RPG
Yeah,
name.
right.
Oh man, Dragon says my name's Dragon. My go-to RPG name is usually Dragon or Dragon Squall. Dragon is a play on dragon because I love dragons. And Squall comes from FF8 because I think Squall is a badass with the gun blade.
Yeah,
Yes,
fair.
I was wondering if Squall was from Final Fantasy VIII Squall.
Yeah, it feels quite iconic a one, doesn't it, to come from elsewhere. Crumpet's here, not Crumpet. Saying hashtag Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
When I play RPGs, I like to try and recreate existing characters. Most recently, I played through Diablo 4 as a sorcerer named Snape. I'd love to hear if
Nice.
there are examples of you guys doing this.
Oh, that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
What, so you create characters that are actual...
Yeah,
Because this is
already
I've never
fictional
thought of doing
characters.
this because this is my problem is that I become overcome with like
You're already overcome now.
I'm overcome with decision fatigue, but taking like just a character I like and just playing them, like that would be cool. I could imagine what Luke Skywalker would do.
I was
going to
go for Han Solo then. I was
Yeah.
gonna, I thought you would be like, ooh,
I mean,
it's
Han's
Mr.
my
Gunn.
guy for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess I thought of Luke. with
Luke
his
would do
wizardy
everything.
ways.
He'd do
Space
everything
wizard.
good. He would do everything good all the
I
time.
know. That's,
You and Luke would do the same things. You'd be like, let's be helpful.
yeah.
Because you
Let's
like
be
a
helpful.
helpful playthrough.
Yeah, I know. It's rubbish, isn't it? It's so dull.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't
I want to be Han, but I'm Luke.
I'm trying to think of like an instance where I've created a character that already exists, and I think the only one I can think of is like Sims. Like in Sims, I
I
used to
love doing that.
Yeah, you create like the Simpsons family, for example, or
Yeah.
something like that. You just try and make them look as close as you can with the character creator model, stuff like that. I can't think of a specific example, but I do think I did it with Sims 2 specifically once.
The other one, I don't know if this quite counts, but I'm saying it anyway, is XCOM 2, where I made all of you guys.
Yeah.
And that's just great.
I've
I
still
love
got
that.
my
It's
XCOM hat.
so-
Wait,
it, like,
I wasn't alive then, was I?
no, you weren't. Sorry, but we could bring it back.
It's
We'll
okay.
bring it back.
It was actually genuinely great to dress up as the characters that you created for us, because you made it first, and
Yeah.
then when we did it live at EGX, it was just like, oh my god, I'm playing Dave's character of me,
Yeah.
and it was so much fun.
It was good fun.
Yeah, sounds
was good.
Yeah.
It's great.
Everybody gets a PlayStation Access bag. Right, I'm going to leave the comments of the week there. So thank you so much for sending those in. That was a little whiz through just because we've chatted a lot in this podcast.
Sorry.
So please send us in any other comments. Dave, you did a call out earlier, actually. I like this idea of calling things out. Just not
Yeah.
when Nath does it. So
Right. Yeah. I can't remember what it was.
yeah, I think it was naming Rosie's character.
Oh yeah, please let's name Rosie's character.
Yeah,
my-
Rosie, quickly, your character is Dragonborn.
Well, no, so this is going to be the name for my new character idea.
Right, okay.
Right, but so this character idea I got. Now I've played D&D, I would love to make this character kind of like a thief, like Sly Cooper, Nathan Drake.
Roguesy.
Yeah, like Roguesy. Yeah,
Roguesy.
pretty much. Yeah, like a rogue's character.
Okay.
I think they're called Roguesy now.
Well, yeah, if they're gonna, they could be, but let's see what the lovely comments have to say
Okay,
as
well,
well.
we want a name
Yep.
and a fear.
Oh.
That's what we'd like.
Afraid of oranges.
Oh,
No, you can't.
she
No, you
wouldn't.
can't. You can't do that to me. You can't make me turn
True
away. I'm wearing my
evil.
orange shoes. You can't do this to me.
My God,
Let's
she didn't even take a beat.
Go.
Oh my God, I've just thought of it before we go.
Before we go right now, let's go there. Bye. Okay, what's your before we go?
Bouncing off that ludicrousy of me fearing oranges, I brought a hat for £5 yesterday.
Rosie literally ran to the stall as well.
Was it orange?
Yeah, it was a bucket hat, which I've never bought before.
Right.
And it was orange, just filled with orange slices. And I saw it.
Not filled with, like, on the hat.
Covered.
Yeah, they're like covered. Yeah.
Patterned with.
Yeah.
Right.
And I saw it, and then like I saw it, like the sign said, "Oh, bucket hat's £5, smile," and it didn't like. I just walked past it, and then one of our friends went to get a Greg's, and while they were in there, I was just like, I'm just gonna buy that hat.
Yeah.
So literally, I just turned around, off I walked up to the little market, and he was like, "Oh, we've got a mirror if you want to see how you look." I was like, "I don't care, I'm gonna buy it regardless." So,
Oh my God, the best customer ever.
Yes.
He must have been like, brilliant.
yeah.
Like,
So literally, I
is there
bought.
anything else you want? Like, please.
Please, would you like any of this stuff? So yeah, I brought an orange slices bucket hat.
Excellent.
It's a good hat.
I was very happy with it. I put it on and like after I bought it, I was walking down and everyone was like, "Oh my god, one of you just bought you Legend." I was like, "Yeah,
Legend."
It was like that. What I enjoyed the most is Rosie was walking down. She was doing that walk. She was walking down the street, like strutting down the street. And I went, "Oh, here she comes!" And Amy came out of Greg's at the same time. Was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Not you."
it's a produce hat prop," and I immediately messaged my boyfriend. I was like, "Do you want to see my new produce prop?" I was like, "Look at my hat."
Yeah, it is a good little hat. I didn't write this down, but I'm going to keep in before we go. Ask Dave about TV. Are you watching TV at the moment?
I am. Yeah. I'm still watching The Bear.
Yeah.
I've started watching Ahsoka. I am quite enjoying it. So that's good. But this is aside from TV, actually, unrelated, but weirdly related. It's perfect. I started, or for the first time this year, last night, my tabletop group got together.
Oh, nice.
And it was great.
September. Where have you been?
I know. We've just been so busy. Oof. Everyone's busy, but it was so good. I have a Star Wars tabletop game, and we've been going since 2017.
Wow.
Like one campaign. Lots of campaigns, but we've all played with the same characters. We've managed to keep them alive all this time.
Oh my god, that's impressive. To begin with,
it's like, well, we've just got the most amazing DM, who is Chris, who did the Cyberpunk tabletop Let's
Chris
Play
is a gem.
on the channel, and he's written this unbelievably good story. And we managed to get together last night and play for the first time in ages, and it was just amazing. It's very perfect with Baldur's Gate 3 coming out. And
I just wanted to ask, for a campaign that's that long, what happens when one of your characters dies? Does
you
the
can
person
re-roll? You can roll back in.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not happened yet. So we haven't decided what we'll do. But in theory, we'd probably have them, I guess, not take over an NPC, because there are NPCs who are around as well, but probably just become a new.
I was going to say, do they just create a new character and it's like, oh, and then you've met this character and it's like, yeah, I'm back, here I am.
I'm back, Rosie.
Well, no, I'm back. Yeah,
Who are you,
I'm
stranger?
Back, but as
you
in,
must earn my trust.
Yeah, like in that sense, but as in, your friend who you're playing with's like, yeah, I'm not having to go home.
Yeah,
no one wants
they don't have
that.
to go home.
Yeah, because no one wants
Lock
that.
them in the other room.
Yeah.
You can
No one
listen to
wants
us
that.
having fun.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Ash, have you gone before we go?
I have been to the House of Frankenstein.
Oh, at last.
yeah. Tell us
Take
about
your
it.
time.
I went at Halloween last year, so I've seen the museum before.
You have been.
But I haven't been to the escape room before.
Yeah.
And I went to the escape room. I don't know why I'm saying it like this.
No, me neither.
But I went to the escape room with my parents, and that was good fun. We didn't kill each other.
That's good.
We were locked in a room for an hour, and we were really well behaved. Nobody was injured.
Yes.
It's great.
Was it scary?
It was spooky.
Okay.
It was spooky. It's designed like there's a dead body on the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like home. But it was really good.
They did a special last Halloween. Did you go to this?
Yeah, the spooky After Dark stuff.
Right.
Around the
That sounded
hotel.
full on. There was like actors running fingers through your hair and stuff.
I have been to the Extreme Scream Park, which is in the Midlands somewhere, or near the Midlands. It's like an hour away from where I live, so not quite the Midlands. Anyway, there's a big place called the Extreme Scream Park, and their setup is really intense, and actors touch you and scream in your face, and like it's really, really themed. So this was a nice version of that.
Right.
As someone who's done that, I was like, oh, this is much nicer. Like, it's spooky, and like people are getting in your face, but it's quite silly and fun.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if I hadn't done that and then gone to that, I'd have been like, ooh, a bit more.
Yeah.
But it was good fun. I'm sure they'll do it again. They're opening a new escape room soon. But they have this thing around the museum where it's called the I Spy game, where you basically scan QR codes as you go around to get answers.
Yeah.
And you can scan all the QR codes and get basically a place for each one, and then at the end the places are equated to a number, and then you've got to give a number to the person downstairs to be like,
right,
here's my answer from everything I've seen around the museum. Here's my answer, and you get a prize if you do.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I'm sorry if I've already told this story, by the way, but I scanned the first one. I was like, oh, what's this? And scanned it whilst I was in the opening with the ticket person. And she was like, oh, it's the I Spy game. You get a prize if you do it. And I went, like one of them. And she was like, nothing wrong with the prize. I was like, so we were both like goofing about it. And I don't know if I came off a bit like, so, but I thought I was being like, hee hee, but then I was worried I was coming across like I was better than it. So I was like, I'm going to do it. I was going to do it anyway, but I was like, but also like, I'm going to do it because I want to be nice to the person as well.
Right.
This is a lie. I just wanted to do it. So I went and did it all.
Yeah.
We weren't doing it to begin with. We were just reading everything, and then because I forgot, and then I went back down. And I was like, oh God, I forgot to do the I Spy things. So made my parents go back down to get all the answers to be able to do it. Went up to the desk and was like, okay, here's your number, lady. And she was like, no. I was like, hang on, what? I was like, count it up again. I was literally like, count it up. Like, it's definitely this. And she was like, well, it's definitely not. Like, I work here. And I was like adding it up with my dad on my phone. I was like, well, we've definitely got this number. I was like, and she was like, I don't know what to tell you. So like, we went out and I was like, I must have done something wrong. And I looked at it again and like changed one of the answers because I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense that it's this actually. And went back in and was like, okay, this number then. And she was like, no. And she was like, you're closer. And I was like, well, where have I gone wrong? And my dad was like, you can't just ask her what the answer. And I was like, So we went out, right? We went out onto the street and like I was obsessed thinking about this thing. I was like, I need to get the answer because that's who I am as a person.
Fair enough, yeah.
And I was like, I need to get the answer. So I was literally looking at my phone. My parents were like, God, because I took a picture of the last thing to be able to add everything up. And I was like, where have I gone wrong? Like, what have I used instead? And I realised my mistake, like 2-3 minutes down the road from House of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And then I had to have a day with my parents doing lovely bonding.
Yeah.
But all I could think about was I need to go back and tell her I've got this number. And it literally was like 4 hours later. Yeah. And I was still thinking about it.
And did you?
Yeah. I went back. My dad was making fun of me and I was like, stop. I was like, I'm not going to go. And then I was like, okay, I am. So I went back in and literally I was hoping maybe someone else was on the desk. Yeah. And it was still her. And then it was Heidi. So went in and was like, here's the number. And she went, like pulled this face like, and I went, okay, no, this number. Because I was I didn't research it, I promise. And she was like, you're right, and I shouldn't give you this prize, but seems you've been so tenacious. And I was like, yeah, and explained to her like what I'd messed up, and she gave me a poster of the House of Frankenstein Museum.
Just what everyone wants. Wow. That must be, I guess that's up now, framed, pride of place?
Yeah, well, I need a frame for it, so it's carefully placed at the moment.
I don't know whether you like this poster or not, but it has got a great backstory that I've enjoyed very much.
It's got to go on the wall.
Yeah.
It's got to go.
It's earned its place.
Yeah. Maybe you should go back and ask Heidi to sign it, just to hammer in the memory.
I actually might. But yeah, she was nothing but kind. And then it's only in the time since that I've been like, was I rude to begin with? And then I've like fabricated this whole story in my head of me being rude. Then that's why I was just doing a house tour. It was good. It was good. And I think she thought I was okay.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it.
Stop thinking about this. Definitely.
From the sounds of it, you had a lovely relationship going.
I hope so. Otherwise, she's like, who's this freak that keeps coming back and shouting numbers at me?
Well, she might be like that too, but yeah.
Oh, Heidi. Right. That's the end of the podcast whilst I sink back into my ever-present overthinking brain, which you could probably see in the House of Frankenstein Museum because there is a big brain in there.
If you're going to have one that overthinks.
Yeah, maybe Mary Shelley's brain did a lot of thinking too.
Probably.
Oh, I'm just like her for real.
Oh, God. End this.
Okay, that is the end of this week's podcast. In 2 weeks' time, we'll have another one fresh and hot on your feed. So come and look for it there, either wherever you listen to podcasts or on the YouTube channel. In the meantime, do check out the aforementioned YouTube channel as we have loads of coverage there, loads of fun game stuff. Baldur's Gate 3, we're playing it. Also, Lies of P. Lies of P. Also, Lies of P, we're playing it. And other games and such that are coming out that we will also play that you can see on the channel. So come and hang out and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
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 PlayStation